Hey folks, Kevin ONeill from the Libertarian Party of Hillsborough County, wanting to remind you all that March 3rd is a big day. We have a City Council of Tampa voting to make pot possession a citation offense rather than a criminal offense. We are building momentum to free our people here in Florida. This is one simple step a city can take. Appears to be support. Let them know, the council members, let them know that we'll be paying attention, you'll be paying attention, and we're certainly going to support those who are like-minded to us who are on that council. So March 3rd, you get time to send U.S. mail if you do it right now. If you're close to the date, you have a chance to send emails and phone them. And of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and just hit the subscribe button when you're watching this video. Just click that little link. And stay in touch with us, of course, on our website, which is lphc.org, lphc.org. You don't have to be a member of the Libertarian Party. You can just be a supporter of ours. Basically, if you get the same mindset on this issue, you can go to our website, fill out the supporter form, and we'll be staying in touch with you through MailChimp, for instance. We get an email every couple weeks. Excellent, guys. Thanks. Show up, fill the room, March 3rd.
Yes, sir.
Yes, hi, City Council. Glad to be here. I'm Kevin ONeill. I'm Executive Committee member on the Hillsborough Libertarians, here to speak about marijuana decriminalization, item 6 on your agenda. We're not advocating drunkenness or intoxication whatsoever. We believe that we want our people of Tampa to be free from being incarcerated, from being harassed by policing agencies, whether it's city, state, or federal. I think you guys have a role to play in being the leadership for the state of Florida. There's been a handful of cities who have gone the distance with decriminalizing pot in their own cities. You guys have an opportunity to be on the same leadership list in the state of Florida. The people of this country, I believe, are sick and tired of having their parents, their loved ones, their grandparents, even infirm people who are sick with cancers and need to have pot in order to deal with whatever digestive issues those toxic chemotherapy drugs produce. We also have children we spend tens of thousands of hours on, helping them grow to be the adults they are. Last thing we want to have is have them put in a cage for years to go through a totally incompetent justice system and to have, 95% of the cases pleaded out where they don't even know what the hell they're doing, but it's a cop and a plea. And they're sitting in a cage in a state prison or a local jail for months and years, all because of this process we have going on in our justice system, which I consider to be somewhat out of control. So you guys have an opportunity to stop that flow of people going into a cage, our people, your children, our children. I hope to God addiction doesn't hit any of our families in this room, but I'm not here to say that addiction doesn't exist. It does. Part of the punishment of an addiction is the drug abuse itself. We're not here advocating people to be abusing drugs. We're advocating our government to get out of our lives, provide some sanity for us so we can at least conduct our legal business here, whether it's going to work or running a business, and not have our entire lives taken off the rails because of pot. So the details of this potential ordinance you're considering, I'll leave up to you, whether it's free to grow a plant and have a plant and dry a plant and pack your plant in a pipe and smoke it, which is pretty much what pot is, or if it's going to be illegal to do further processing, like making it into a pill form or adding pesticides. These are details. In the main spirit of what I think you guys are willing to listen to is we need to keep our people of Tampa out of cages, keep our people of Tampa protected from being abused by the judicial system, which is probably understaffed and out of control, and you can make a law go one way or another. And keep people of Tampa free, which is what we want to be here in America. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Christopher Cano, live at 1529 West River Lane. I am the Executive Director of the Central Florida Chapter for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. I come before you today not as someone with a title, but as a son who has a sick father. And his only option of treatment is high-grade cannabis oil to help him with his terminal dementia. Many of you know me personally, you know my family, and I'm asking you today to think about what if it was your family member who you had to risk your freedom for, every single day to make sure that they could get treated, so that they could get better, what would you do for your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your son or daughter? That's the question you have before you today when you choose whether or not that you're going to vote on civil citations for cannabis possession. Because the criminal justice system in this county, we all know, is overcrowded. We all know that nonviolent offenders are crowding our system. We know that for 80 years, cannabis prohibition is rooted in Jim Crow racism as a specific attack on the African American and Latino communities in this country. Now, I've provided some of you with white papers. I've met with many of you. I've spoken on this numerous times. I want you to understand that you do have a serious decision to make today. That decision is going to determine the leadership of this city in determining, as the gentleman said, the future freedom of our citizens. Now, I want everyone in this audience who stands with me to stand up right now and show the City Council that we are not alone, that you guys have a serious decision to make today, and that the people are listening. So please, make the right decision. Pay attention to what the other municipalities have done, and please decriminalize cannabis in the city of Tampa. Thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Mariah Barnhart, and it's great to be able to address you guys. As you know, we've gone to the Florida State Legislature in regards to cannabis for several years and have gotten nowhere. So we're really hoping on a local level we can at least meet in the middle until we get some laws passed. What we all know, anyone with knowledge of the politics about cannabis legislation, is it is a war on minorities. It's also killing our children. It is by far the most dangerous and expensive war the United States has ever waged. In regards to our personal circumstances, you'll hear from another Canamom. We have an organization that advocates for the access to cannabis medicine. And what you have here in the state of Florida and in the city of Tampa is a lot of parents with critically and chronically ill children who are no longer waiting on the legislature. As everybody knows, cannabis has been here forever. It's not going anywhere. And patients and parents of critically ill children needed to find a way to help their loved ones or themselves. Cannabis is here. We are not criminals for saving our children's lives. So we would truly appreciate not only passing this measure, but adding the extracts from the plants, because our children can't smoke it. So children are using extracts from these plants, and we'd really like to decriminalize on a local level while we move forward with state legalization. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm Renee Petrole, and I'm here on behalf of Canamoms and on behalf of the war on drugs is a war on humanity. I have a child who has a really, really bad seizure disorder. He seizes every day. He's been on 19 different pharmaceutical FDA-approved medications. None of them have worked. And every day he asks me, Mom, I want to get better. And I know that cannabis will help him. But I have to also, as with others, we have to worry about people coming to knock down the doors and take us away because we're trying to save our children's lives. And to me, being in the United States of America, it's about equal opportunity. It's about justice and freedom, and it's about doing what's right by the people. And Brandon deserves that right. Everyone deserves that right. So, again, I think we should just legalize it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dana Moxa Cummings. I am the former chairman of the Libertarian Party of Florida and a resident of Land Lakes here in the Tampa Bay area. I'm also a third-generation Floridian, and I have two children now who will be fourth-generation Floridians, and I'm very proud of that, very proud of our state. Also, I've been an advocate for cannabis for quite some time. I came down with Lyme disease back in 2010, right after I had my daughter, and was going down quickly. I was at the point to where I thought I was making plans for my husband to take care of her forever. When I realized, hey, why don't I break the law and try to use this cannabis oil to save my life? Even with the risk that I was putting myself under, I took it because there's a survival instinct we have there, and I got better from it. And I mean, it wasn't just the symptoms, it healed me of a chronic bacterial infection that I couldn't get rid of. It has made me also realize that in doing so, it gave the perception that I was a bad person, that I was a criminal. I didn't get caught doing it, but if I did, and if I went around telling people, that was the impression I gave. And as my children are getting older and I'm seeing more children, I think the message in general that we are sending about medications and about cannabis especially is totally off base. It's destroying the moral fabric of our society when we let them think that anything doctors write are good to have. I don't remember anyone having to vote on whether we should approve to give oxycodone to children, yet we're doing that. There's cannabis out there that is given to children and has remarkable results with no side effects. And it's not just the legal aspect, which I know, we're talking about that here a little bit, but to at least make it look like it's a civil infraction and not a criminal would just do wonders to the next generation. Because I don't want my child to think that people that use this medicine are criminals when people that can use medicine given by a doctor, even though it's much dangerous, are quite fine. And what I like to teach my children is we don't hurt other people that haven't hurt you. We don't cause harm to others. And sometimes there's rules that are set in place that force us to cause harm to other people. And when those rules are there, I believe they're meant to be broken. And instead of making people break those rules to set those examples and making criminals out of them, which, as we've heard from all these people, what that does to society, a civil infraction is at least the beginning to let people know that this is not, you shouldn't be looked down upon because you use this for an illness at least any more than you're looked down upon for using something like oxycodone, Xanax, any of those type of medications which have horrible side effects that have been proven when there has been none proven on this. And I think it's just in terms of the moral fabric and where we're going as a society in general, not just legally, we need to take the stigma off of this drug that the drug war has had on it for too long. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you consider decriminalizing that.
All right, next speaker.
Hello, my name is Michael Minardi. I'm an attorney in the state of Florida, and I'm talking about item 6. Specifically, 7-to-1. That is the arrest ratio in Tampa of African Americans to whites for cannabis, even though use among all individuals is the same. That is an incredible disparity that has to stop, and this ordinance can help stop that. By 1, civil citations. Do you understand the effects of criminal laws on cannabis in the state of Florida? You get a license suspension, punishable by up to 1 year in jail, $1,000 fine currently. You have to have multiple DUIs to have a 6-month license suspension in the state of Florida with no hardship. But with 1 possession of cannabis charge, walking down the street under 20 grams, you can lose your license for 6 months. Can't get a hardship, causes problems with work. I have had children, college students, lose scholarships, lose ROTC programs for a simple couple grams of cannabis. And you are ruining these children's and these people's lives forever by causing this to be criminalization. The city of Miami has estimated about $40,000, or Miami Beach has estimated savings of about $40,000 just by going to a decriminalization program. You guys are discussing the sexual battery and these sexual predators being everywhere. Well, in Florida, there's over 10,000 sexual assault kits that are untested as a result of funding, a lack of funding. We can take this decriminalization measure, save money on law enforcement, reallocate our resources. Maybe we'll have more officers available to go out and check on these sexual predators, and we can save people's lives, prevent them from losing scholarships, prevent them from entering the military. That's the ramifications of what cannabis criminalization does right now. As you know, I'm sure, there are 4 states in this country, and there's other ballot initiatives that are going forward with legalization. We're not talking about decriminalization. We're talking about full legalization, regulating cannabis like alcohol. And it's working. It's shown to be a sensible policy. Colorado made $986 million in revenue from cannabis, has seen minimal detriments from that. And the woman earlier who was talking about teen use, I find that to be very accurate. The studies have consistently shown in medical states or legal states, teen use has not increased, and in fact, some states it has decreased. Now, that is one thing the drug war has not done in over 40 years. In 40 years of our drug war, it has not reduced the use of any drugs. This is sensible policy for the city of Tampa, and is something that I hope that you all support. We have to turn our criminalization of individuals, and a lot of these people are young, 18 to 25, who are getting arrested, and older. Many of my clients are 50 plus who are using cannabis now. Elderly, 45 and up, are the biggest percentage of the population in our country that are moving towards using cannabis, and I hope that you approve this message.
Okay. Next speaker.
921 East Broad Street, Susan Long, as if you haven't heard that before. There are three items I want to address. The first one is decriminalization of marijuana. I moved here from Michigan in 1982. Long before I moved to Michigan, Ann Arbor had changed the laws so that possessing small amounts of marijuana was a parking ticket. You didn't see people lying in the streets, smoking pot. It wasn't an issue. They just didn't go to jail for it. I think they did that prior to 78. So I lived there 4 years, and it was before I ever moved there. We're slow. We're behind the times. Not a big surprise. I think we ought to decriminalize it. I know tons of people that utilize it for things other than just recreation. Serves benefit to all of them. I recommend it.